have some disruptions at times. How can you work with them to make good decisions together and to hopefully develop some consensus on the board? And I'll just start with several.
All right. So my campaign motto is common ground. I'm not kidding. I think there's a lot of people over here pretty angry. There's a lot of people over here pretty angry. I think there's a lot of people in the middle. And I think this really large people in the middle really doesn't want to hear about it. They really want to yell about it. They want us to take good care of their kids. So as a principal, as a director, as a school teacher, you're running a meeting, right? It's a meeting. How do you get everybody engaged in that meeting? Well, you have to have a focus. You have to have something you're supposed to be talking about. And you've got to make sure the focus is maintained, that we're talking about what we're talking about. One. Second of all, I would start every meeting talking about why we can do something. We've got this idea. I've got this idea. And it's not just it needs to not always be me. Maybe you have this idea. Then we're going to talk about why we should do it. I'm not going to talk about why not to do it. I'm not going to talk about why no. I'm not going to start beating it up before we look at it. We're going to talk about why we can. And if we can't figure out why we can, then we shouldn't. So, focus. What are we trying to do? Why are we, no. Focus. What are we trying to do? And can we do it? And how do we do it? You got to run a tight meeting. Nobody likes a bad one. I've given bad lessons. I've hosted bad meetings. And I always felt sick afterwards. And I don't like feeling sick.
So this is one of the reasons why I'm running, because I've been watching the board meetings for the last 3 years, and I'm screaming at my YouTube, talking to my wife, and I'm tired of screaming at the wind. So I want to get involved. I want to return a culture of civility and collaboration. I think the form of the meetings are flawed, for one. We should only be speaking about agenda items at the meetings. There should be no pop-up agenda items. If you have an item that's supposed to be on the agenda, that's, that you want on the agenda, or you want to be spoken about, you have to put it on the agenda before the meeting, well before the meeting, so people have time to prepare for the meeting and able to talk about it. If you have a pop-up issue, it can go on next month's agenda. We're not going to entertain pop-up agendas and have people ill-prepared to speak about them. All right. The other thing is we have 2 public comment sections. Right. We have one at the beginning about agenda items only. Fine, let's keep that one, so the board can consider the public's opinion on the agenda items as they go through the agenda. And then there's a final public comment section, which is just about anything. Anything, right? And they don't get a response back from the board. They just scream at the board for 3 minutes, right? And they don't get any satisfaction from screaming at the board. They just scream at the board. I propose getting rid of that section and having a bi-monthly, every other month session where people, like you were talking about coffee talks, we'll do 6 coffee talks a year, we'll do 6 discussion periods a year. So you will come to the Paradigm as a member of the public, whatever you want to talk about with the board. You come and you speak with the board, and the board speaks back to you. And we have a conversation, a dialogue. I think when people have a dialogue and have a conversation, they're held accountable for their views, they're held accountable for what they say, and it's more satisfying both for the board and for the person who's speaking to actually have that discussion. I believe right now it's just unprofessional, and it's been kind of a melee at these meetings, and we're breeding that culture, and it keeps snowballing, and we got to rein it in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the president, what is the president?
Oh, Tom.
Did she respond?
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Sorry,
didn't
no,
see you
that's
stand
okay.
up. Go.
It's been a challenge. I'll tell you what we've tried. We've had about 3 different board work sessions. We've had our lawyers come in. We've had we've proposed creating like a board manual and standards. A lot of these things are shut down. Unfortunately, sometimes when people are sitting on the board who truly want to create a divisive atmosphere because they are trying to make public education look less than, it's very hard to combat that. So, you know, when you're in a situation where someone is, my reason for being here is because I believe that public schools indoctrinate children and people should remove their children from public schools. If you have a person on the board that feels that way, it is very hard no matter what you do. They have said, I will not come. They skipped 2 of our board work sessions to try to create a session, refused to create a board manual. These are people that don't want to work as a group. So it's a very difficult situation when you're working with these people. I think the best answer is to find better candidates.
Tom.
So I am curious about the mechanics of getting elected. What are your biggest obstacles, your biggest needs? I hear you're not running as a slate. So if I go knocking on doors, do I have to knock 3 times?
Thank you for that question. We're not running as a slate because we do each have different perspectives and different ideas, but I think we can all work together. We're pretty like-minded. So we have started canvassing events every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. If you'd love to canvass with us, since you brought that up, we are meeting at 9 or 9:30 now.
9 o'clock.
Well,
Yeah, 9:30.
9
9 for the candidates,
we
9:30.
come at 9:30 and we talk about you. No, we come at 9, and then 9:30 you come.
We'll have walking lists and we'll have all of our material, and we are putting our material together. We each have 3 separate websites and different campaigns. So things that you can do to help us would be, 1, spread the word. If you follow our Facebook pages, check out our websites, talk to your neighbors, definitely show up to vote. If you'd like an absentee ballot, we have absentee ballot applications out there. Early voting would be great, but just passing the word, talking to people, having meet and greets like this is a great way for us to get out. We are knocking on doors. We definitely need donations. I hate to say it, I'm the person that hates to talk about money more than anyone. We usually, but campaigns are really, really expensive. Signs are expensive, advertisement is expensive, and last time campaigns ran between $20,000 to $30,000 a piece. So each of us are trying to share some resources. You'll see some ads with us together, but ultimately they're expensive. So any donations, just sharing our Facebook types of things, getting social media out there is important. We need people to stand with us on election day at the polls, just holding a sign, you know, talking to people and spreading the word are our biggest things. What have I left out?
I just think you probably won't be surprised to learn we're going to be massively outspent.
Yeah.
We will be massively outspent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want you, like, it's great for you to talk about how great of a guy Dan Hardesty is to all your friends, but, like, there's 3 seats open, right? So it has to be Maggie, Robert, and Dan, even though we're not sharing a platform, right? And not like voting in lockstep. We're still have the same priorities overall, right? We can disagree and we can disagree like adults, but we're all running independent campaigns. So the public has to recognize that there's 5 seats on the board, 3 seats are open. So they need the top 3 get in. So, Haig, Hardesty, and Cook.
This can be a whole change in the board, with 3 seats open. So we still have 2 sitting board members. We'll have Marchaza and Iapolo will remain on the board, and then we'll see who the next 3 will be.
Where's the opponent's money coming from?
There'll be a report out in September.
So you'll know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to introduce the former clerk of courts for Lake County and former council member here in Mentor, Lynn Martin.
I'm also called the closer, so. There's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is you have to listen to me for a couple of minutes. The good news is I'm the last person you have to listen to. And then you can talk to these great people and have some of these wonderful snacks and talk to each other. So I'm just gonna take a couple of minutes of your time. I've known Maggie since she was running for school board. I've known Dan and Robert since they were thinking about running for school board, actually prior to that when they started going to school board meetings. I am deeply impressed by their credentials, their personalities, their morals, their way of thinking, their way of wanting to work together with whoever they have to work with, and their ability to do that. First of all, there's one thing that I was counting on my fingers of things that I needed to do. The second one, before I forget, was to thank the Laumas very much for having this. The primary duty of school board, the most important duty of a school board, is to elect the superintendent and the chief financial officer. We have outstanding men in those positions. I mean, really first-rate men. Think about if you have a school board who is politically motivated and who their buddies are or their political buddies are to be in those positions. Because I'm going to tell you, it can ruin a school district very, very quickly. Keep that in mind. These guys want quality people and the quality jobs that we need. I'm not sure about the other ones. I know there's two reasons that I'm voting for these three people. The first reason is I know the three of them very well, and I know they're the best ones. Second reason is I know they're competition. And I know their goals. Maggie alluded to it. Some of them have personal agendas. Some of them have wealthy state senators, fathers in their family that can help a lot with getting money for their campaigns. This is a grassroots group. There's the most important thing in a campaign is that people come to one of these and they say, you know, I really did like these three guys. I liked them. And then you go home and you recognize that 99% of the people in there really don't know who's on board now and really don't care that much. They don't think about it that much. If they say to you, God, I don't even know what to vote on in this thing. I don't even know if I'm going to vote. And you say, you know what? I met them in person and I'm going to tell you, I really like these three. That goes so much further than any dollar these guys can spend. It really is important. Putting a sign in your yard, having a meet and greet if you're so able, and if you're so inclined, they can always use money. They can always use money. It's expensive. The larger signs that in really prime spots, those are $35 a piece. The sticker on my windshield, or my back windshield, not my front, that says, vote for Mr. Haig, $8. I was embarrassed that he has to spend that much money for my car. If you've got a buck or two, please donate it to him. Please recognize that you guys can really make a difference in this race and that you really need these three people. You can vote for three. I can't even count. Please vote for these three. And thank you so much for coming in again to those.